Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the This Week in Bitcoin preview show. Yes, you're going to get a quick 12-minute clip that's going to get you interested in the main This Week in Bitcoin show that's coming up on Friday at its usual time. We've got two guests of Venezuelan heritage. One is actually in Venezuela. This clip is going to be all about the Petro and the control and how the government is getting away with printing their own cryptocurrency. They'll inflate it just like the Bolivar. Pound that like button. This is really good insider information. Venezuela, Petro, pound that like button. Watch it.
No, I just got to say, like, to Javier's point, growing up there, and Javier can attest to this, the Venezuelan government's main job, as far as I've been around, the way they've managed to stay in power for so long is confusion. Confuse the people. And to Javier's point, you have companies like, like ourselves, like Satoshi Venezuela, like, AirTM, there's Coinbase trying to send money to Venezuela. Like, everyone's trying to help Venezuela through Bitcoin and airdrops and all these things. And they're, and the people outside, they're looking at media, they're looking at Twitter, they're like, okay, this is a futuristic technology that has like some benefits for Venezuela. And along comes the government and sequesters that narrative and says, oh yeah, of course, this is what's going to help us. And guess what? We made it better. Here's the Petro. And then people are going to start using the Petro, and the Petro's going to go to crap. And when people are looking at the Petro, and they're going to say, what is this crypto thing? This crypto thing sucks, blah, blah, blah. And the government's going to say, listen, this isn't our fault. Like, we were trying our best. This crypto thing isn't really what it's made out to be. We're just going to wait. We're going to go find the next thing. And people are going to be like, oh, the government tried their hardest. And that's really like what we're up against.
Javier, does the Petro actually exist? What's going on down there?
Well, hello, Adam. Thanks for having me here. Yeah. The Petro actually exists, but not like, like Bitcoin, not like that kind of existence, more like a tool, more a dystopian tool and government tool to control us. So, yeah, it exists, but is a little pain.
What's it built on top of? Or obviously it's centralized and it's there to keep track of you. I mean, do you have it in your possession? Actually, have you actually played around with it at all?
Oh, personally, I don't have any Petro, so the approach that I have is because some friends of mine have a little portion of Petro, so I can know how they are using it, like they're receiving as government bonuses. So it's a little weird to have Petros. You can buy it in national exchange, but we don't know those fellas. The CEO of those exchange don't show their face in public, and so
Can you use the Petro to buy real things? Can you actually, is it used as a medium of exchange?
yes. And in this point, many things could be used as a medium of exchange. So we have the hot potato as the with the Bolivar, and now we have a crypto hot potato with the Petro, and maybe they will force us to use it. But mm, to be a medium of exchange isn't enough to be named as a cryptocurrency, and this is just a tool to control the economy of the country, to control in a more powerful or more sophisticated way over us.
Yeah, but the one thing I try to look at things in a positive light, and you just said the word sophistication. If people learn how to use this thing, to use this Petro, it'll get them one step closer to Bitcoin, right?
Yes, and as a Bitcoin believer, I think that if people get familiar with the use of the Petro, and with wallets, with exchange platforms, maybe is a new way to get in touch with Bitcoin, because it's the original one, and I don't think that many people that will face that Petro is for control, that Petro is centralized, will keep the Petro as the main crypto asset.
Now one, oh, sorry, continue.
We will be working, or transiting or moving to Bitcoin in a while. I don't think that the people will keep the Petro as the main crypto asset here, as we don't do it neither with the Bolivar, no?
Is it worth more than a Bolivar, a Petro?
Yes, a Petro worth like 60 US dollars.
Then if this is, then isn't this keeping Maduro in power longer? He's able to print his own cryptocurrency. That's extending. Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
So it's working. It's working. What he's unbelievable. This is the power of cryptocurrency. Wow, pound that like button. Mauricio, your thoughts on this situation?
I mean, I largely agree with Javier. I've seen the Petro. I want to say, so the Petro's had two versions of the white paper. The first iteration of it, actually, there's been material changes between one and the other. And I want to basically tell you a little bit about my research up to now, because in preparation for this, I basically did a lot of digging, trying to essentially get my hands on a potentially instance of a Petro node, or figure out which blockchain the Petro was running on, and try to get some visibility on some wallets. So the first I'll start with the white paper. So the first white paper was stipulated as an ERC20 token, and it was backed by a finite number of barrels with a specified field as the reserves. The second version of the white paper then went on to say it would be on the NEM blockchain, and that it would be backed by a basket of commodities that the government could choose and replace at any one time, and that you have to basically trust the Venezuelan government. Today, it's very, very hard to basically check or verify anything on the Petro blockchain as a whole. I do see that I have confirmed the same way Javier has, that people have transacted in it, and that you can see some transactions, that you can see the transactions debit and credited in the blockchain. I myself haven't been able to get there, because I think it's very important for us to keep track of the issuance schedule for this, because if this is on an actual blockchain, they're basically shooting themselves in the foot, because now we're going to be able to track every governor, every mayor, every person who actually gets these Petros, corrupt as they may be, which they will be. We're now actually going to have some visibility on that corruption, which is beautiful. And I actually don't think they actually know that this is going to happen, or they're not quite aware that this is actually the case with the blockchain. So to your point, the point that you just made exactly, this is a control tool, and this is in my view, and the view of other Venezuelans, this is a way, and it says it in the white paper, in actual law that decrees the Petro into being. There's some very interesting quotes and points that essentially says that the SUNACRIP, which is the entity that regulates the Petro and the issuance, sits outside the central bank and only has a requirement to collaborate with the central bank to talk about the Petro and the issuance of the Petro. So Maduro has now a way to bypass the central bank to print crypto, to print actually like worthless funds that now don't even have to be printed with actual ink and paper. He could just make it into being with a click, and send it to his wire. So he already started airdropping things. He already started having like these tech shows, tech fairs, which was the reason for my original tweet that you quoted at the beginning, was him walking around and call it like consensus, like Venezuelan Petro, trade show. And there were some people who, obviously in Venezuela, there's a lot of hungry entrepreneurs, a lot of comp sci grads, a lot of people that are looking at them, and not a lot of people have the opportunity to get on a plane and reestablish themselves elsewhere. And so they see in this a way to get a grant They see in this a way to get a angel funding for their business, and they can build this great tech. And given the resources and the options that they have, it's I'm not surprised that you're constantly going to have people that are going to be willing to do this. But yeah, that's. I mean, I'll stop there because we can go about this forever. But that's really kind of my 2 cents.
Well, it's better than the Boulevard. I mean, and he's again, unfortunately, it's working. It's strengthening the regime. If people are getting, they're hungry young entrepreneurs out there. You're not going to do anything with the Boulevard. Why not do this if they're giving it away for free? And there seems like there's opportunity. Wow, that is a very, very interesting situation. I really haven't heard all this yet, so I'm reacting. You can see. Javier, do you have any thoughts on what Mauricio just said? Anything to add to the situation? And I mean, where do you see this ending? Where do you see it going, progressing to?
Well, yes, that was a kind of crypto event with many entrepreneurs of the Venezuelan crypto movement, like they shaking hands with the dictator and receiving credit in Petro, or smiling and giving him a treasure like a gift. That, like, I sent a tweet about that, and Trezor after that published an official statement about that they're not linked with anybody on that crypto event. And this is very weird. We are pushing Bitcoin as an option and talking with people about Bitcoin, about how it could help us as citizens to overcome this authoritarian government, and then they are pushing their own narratives, like crypto will save us, crypto is the new way to liberate our economy, to defeat Trump. They are pushing a crypto narrative that could help us to maintain the power. The ultimate goal of the government is just hold the power and, well, keep us little and control it.